command over these languages. There are companies who pay thousands of dollars to people who can just review their code, right? Because a lot of hacks happens, right? Everything is depending upon your code. Your code is the law, right? If anything goes wrong with your code, you can lose like millions of dollars, and that's what is happening, right? So these companies are ready to pay thousands of dollars to these developers so that they can audit their code, right? So this is one of the things.
Hi guys, welcome back to our YouTube channel. I hope you guys are doing good. We are back with a new video. This video is going to be really important for those who want to make a career in blockchain industry without having any prior knowledge of this industry. So watch this video till the end, and before moving forward, take a moment to subscribe our channel and press the bell icon so that you can get the notification for all our upcoming latest videos. So for this session, we have a very special guest with us, Uttam. Uttam is working in the blockchain industry himself as a DevRel in Flare Network. In this session, he has discussed what exactly is blockchain, his journey of getting into the blockchain space, and what kind of jobs are available in the industry, and how much coding is actually required to be a blockchain developer. So without wasting time, let's jump into the session. So hi Uttam, thank you for being here with us. Can you give us a quick introduction about yourself?
Yeah, sure. Thank you so much, Shivani, for inviting. So, hey everyone, I'm Uttam saying I'm right now working as a developer relations engineer at Flare Network. Before that, I worked with Polygon. Started as a blockchain engineer intern, and then developer relations. Right. I've also done my research project at University de Montreal. So that was a my tech's research program sponsored by Government of Canada. So there I worked under a professor for a blockchain project. Other than that, I'm also a content creator and a Web3 educator. So you can follow me on Twitter and YouTube. I create education material around mostly technical, right? So if you are an engineer or a developer, or if you want to learn more about technical stuff, I create that content. Yeah, so this is a small introduction about me.
Okay, so we'll link the channel of Uttam in the description below. You guys can check it out if you want. So Uttam, can you just tell us a little bit about what your role is exactly? Like I read it on LinkedIn, it's called developer relations, I guess, in Flare Network. So can you tell us a little bit about what your roles and responsibilities are as this person?
Okay, right. So let me first tell you what is developer relations. So developer relations is a new role that it has been there for a long time, but right now it's on rise, right? So DevRel is someone who acts as a bridge between the product and the developer community. So most of the time as a DevRel, your job is 3 C's that are famous: code, content, and community. So you will be creating tutorials around your product, so you can you can tell your community what exactly your product is, building good tutorial videos, and writing blogs, right? And also might include managing communities sometimes, right? So it's a very different job. Under that umbrella, under the DevRel umbrella, there are certain kind of jobs like developer marketing, developer evangelist, developer advocates, right, and developer relations engineer. So sometimes you're also building SDKs and talking to developers if they have any doubt particularly related to your product. You are the main person to solve all their doubts. I'm talking especially in Web3 and blockchain. Why this job is very famous here? Because blockchain and Web3 are new technologies, and it's hard for people to learn these technologies at first stage, right? So you need these engineers, you need these advocates, you need just people who can help you, always be there to help you if you have any doubt related to product, or if you want to get inside the community, if you have any doubts, if you're like, hey, I know, but how can I enter into this space? So these are the people that you will reach out to. These will be these people will be advocates of your product. So this is more of developer relations and blockchain.
Great, Uttam. So seems like you are quite invested in this industry, right? You also have your own YouTube channel where you are educating people about blockchain and Web3 in general. So can you tell us a little bit what made you so much interested in making a career in this space, and you can also cover this aspect as well, like what exactly is blockchain technology, if you have to just explain it in simple terms to newbies out there, because obviously tech is a huge domain, and anyone can have multiple skill sets, right? So there are people who want to become blockchain developers as well. So you can just cover both the topics in this key, like how did you get into this space and what exactly is blockchain for people who are
Okay.
starting. Yeah.
Yeah. So just asking, answering your first question, how did I get into blockchain and Web3? So I guess at the time of 2019, 2020, there was lockdown due to COVID, right? And then I heard about this cryptocurrency, Bitcoin, Ethereum. The prices were going so high, and I was like, what is this? And then being as a computer science student, pursuing engineering, I was more interested towards technology, and I wanted to learn how these things actually work, right? So at that time, I started learning about cryptocurrencies, then underlying technology called blockchain, how it works. Firstly, Bitcoin, and then how Bitcoin works, and then moving towards Ethereum, right? So the basic difference between Bitcoin and Ethereum is that Ethereum is a programmable blockchain. So you can put your code inside the blockchain, right? You can basically they're called smart contracts. So your code will be on blockchain itself, right? So yeah, so I got interested into this, and then I was like, more, yes, this is interesting. I want to pursue it more. Just want to get more details out of it. So I got into it more, and then build a few applications around it, basic simple applications, right? And that was the time where there was no good resources out there to learn. Like it's like 2-3 years from now we have unlimited resources, like literally many resources to, if someone wants to get into Web3 and blockchain. So at that time there was no resources. I just looked into the actual documentation of the languages like Solidity, etc., right? And then after that, I guess once I had my basics cleared, I have built a few applications. I just started looking for jobs and internships, right? I worked as a mostly product intern at Blockchain Council, right? So that was a very small gig. I almost worked there for almost 2 months. There I was just looking into different blockchains, what they do, and the work was mostly around that, right? And then after that, I learned about Polygon. So Polygon being a famous startup from India, I guess Polygon has to be always given credited for so much of creating a great community in India around Web3 and blockchain space, right? So Polygon was not that much big at that time, but I knew there is a company from India, and these people are doing some amazing work in the Web3 and blockchain space. So I got an offer from there as a blockchain engineer intern, right? So at that time, mostly my work was so there are two more things that I think everyone should know. Like on blockchain development side, there are so many jobs, like so many things: smart contract auditing, smart contract developer, and then Rust engineer, Golang engineer, Solidity developer. So there are a lot of things, full stack developer, building applications. So yeah, so one should be very clear that when I say blockchain engineer, it can be different. It can be different depending upon the role what you do, right? So my role was mostly around working on Golang and building client, that actual blockchain client, right? And after that, I was more interested towards developer relations. I always wanted to teach people. I was into that, and I was always I was always active on Twitter and LinkedIn, where all this innovation was going on. So I was like, hey, I want to teach people more. So then I shifted towards developer relations. And then after that, I left Polygon to do my blockchain research project that was under a professor at Canada. And then when I came back, same old, I wanted to teach, and I got into DevRel at Flare Network. And since then, I also started YouTube, creating few courses, because there are very less deep technical stuff out there related to blockchain and Web3. So that's what my journey is as of now. And answering a second question, so what actually is blockchain, right? So blockchain is I guess it's my definition, blockchain is a decentralized, distributed, immutable, public and secure ledger system. You can also call it as a database, but I prefer to call it as a ledger system, right? And Web3 and blockchain are two different things, right? Web3 is a whole new concept for building a new web, and the blockchain is the underlying technology that has been used under it to make things decentralized, right? So, this is what originally, I guess, blockchain will be. There are so many things around it. Like, as I said, Bitcoin is non-programmable, and Ethereum is programmable, and then there are a lot of things that have been working around Ethereum that it is not so scalable, right? Scalable in sense, if you want to read from blockchain, it's free. But if you want to write anything on the blockchain, then it requires fees, right? So if it's like that you are going to a shopping mall for doing shopping, and then you are just paying 1,000 rupees just for parking, right? So that's very bad. So there are problems that are there in the blockchain ecosystem, and that has been working on. People are working.
Okay, got it, Uttam. So I think that was a fair, simple explanation for blockchain and Web3. So we keep hearing, like especially being in India, we keep hearing about some sort of negative news about Web3 and blockchain every now and then. Like we also heard about that FTX case that happened, and a few more like NFT cases like that are like not really legit sources of investment or something like that. So do you think blockchain and careers around this are here to stay, or is it just some fad which has just come and it will go in some time? What sort of just put some light on that. Do you think it is going to stay in India, especially as a career for all those engineers out there?
See, Shivani, when internet came, right, as it came in 1990s, at that time also there were so many scams. But the problem was, at that time, internet was so small that those scams weren't out in the public. But right now, due to this decentralization and blockchain and this transparency, whenever there is a hack, it's all transparent, right? So it always happens whenever there is a new tech or whenever there is a revolution. It always happens that there will be hacks and there will be things like that. But the good thing is, everything is transparent here. Like we all know like what happened. Everyone in India has watched Scam 1992. Right? We watched it. Yes. Nobody really knew it before this movie came out, right? Everyone was like, it was very exclusive. Only the government people were having access of it. Only those banks were having access of it. But if anything goes wrong in Web3, in DeFi, it's all public. It's all out there. You can go and you can check it. What happened wrong? What was who did it and all that stuff. It's all public out there, right? So what I feel is that it's usually the case whenever there is a new technology. It requires you have to provide some time to make it safer. And trust me, talented like world's brilliant engineer are working on this technology, and they are trying to build it safe. And if anybody of you have any doubt like whether you should enter into this or not, I will say that's definitely right now is the case, right? In Web2 specifically, right now the time market is not good, layoffs are going on. But in Web3, I guess still people are hiring because VCs are investing into it because they see that it is the future, right? We have to come out of those centralized entity and move towards decentralized space. And DeFi and NFT ecosystem are going. If you watch the TVL is basically total value locked in any of the protocol. Like in the DeFi space, it is increasing. So people are taking their money out of this fiat banking system because people do not have trust these days. A lot of banks has gone down. If you've heard of, US, there was one bank, 2-3 banks that, got bankrupt. But people are moving towards this DeFi ecosystem because it is safer, it is more transparent, and people are working towards making it more safe. So if you are someone who wants to get into it, I will say just go and also do your own research as well. Go to Twitter if you think that I'm saying something wrong. Go to Twitter, go to Etherscan. All these blockchain has all this, everything is since public. So you can see everything out there, right? And the number of opportunities are tremendous. And not just in the technical space, right? If there is a startup, they also need marketing guys. They also need, product managers. They also need technical writers. They also need social media managers, community managers. So the employment also increases in this way.
Yeah. Yeah, so I mean, what you're trying to say is obviously there have been some bad news around it, but that does not mean that the whole industry is bad and there is no progress happening. I'm sure there are good things as well which are happening. We just need to do our own research into it, right? Cool. So, Uttam, now that we have discussed that, we have pretty much established that blockchain as an industry and Web3 as an industry are here to stay, right? There are legit career opportunities out of it, and there are jobs. There are going to be a lot of jobs for people. But let's just specifically discuss a little bit about people who want to become blockchain developers, or like engineers who want to have a career in it as a developer. So can you just shed some light on how a person can actually get started with it? Like, let's just say I am a college fresher, or just a recent graduate, and I have some sort of coding background, or maybe I have some sort of interest, and I am pretty inclined towards making a career in blockchain industry. So how can I get started with it? Is there some set roadmap that I can follow, or I can just get started with any coding language and things can take forward from there?
See, I myself don't believe in the concept of a roadmap, because I think that there are so many things to cover that it will not be possible to cover everything in a roadmap. But what I can say is that if you have experience about how, if you have already built an application, mobile application or web application, then you are good to go. You can directly enter into Web3. But if you haven't built any technique, anything around web, you don't even know how API works, what is HTTP, hypertext transfer protocol, and all this stuff. So first understand what is web, like how does it normally works, how you can build an application, how you connect front end to back end, and all that stuff, how to use an API in your application, right? So once that is clear, you can move forward towards learning Web3 space, right? So Web3 is basically an extension to Web2 space, right? So you need to have basic knowledge of Web2. On the front end side, the languages that are used are same. Like in front end in Web2, we use JavaScript. Here also, we have JavaScript. Obviously, there are some new libraries that you have to learn, like Web3.js, Method.js. There are new applications and new, new products that you can use, right, by building your application. But the underlying technology for front end side, like the languages, a little bit almost the same, right? Talking about being a full stack engineer, so on the backend side, there is definitely smart contract that I talked about. So for that smart contract, you need to learn a language, right? So on EVM chains, right, you have language like Solidity and Viper. So you can choose any one of them. I will suggest go for Solidity because it has better support out there, but you can also choose Viper anytime. And also, when you're entering into Web3 space, it's like you have so many chains, because there are non-EVM chains like Solana, right? You must have heard of Solana, like people have heard of Solana, Ethereum, right? So Solana has different language, Ethereum, EVM chains have different languages to build on, like different tech stack, right? So you also have to make sure which chain you want to onboard to. What I will suggest is that go into EVM chains. So there is a standard of EVM. So all these chains in the future, according to me, will have all the standard of EVM, where developer have to just be EVM, so they can build on any of the chain, not just a single chain, right? So in the focusing on EVM chains, right, you can learn Solidity and Viper to write a smart contract, so that you can become a smart contract developer, right? And then becoming a blockchain engineer. So for that, it's like as I told you about smart contracts. So this smart contracts goes, you deploy it onto the blockchain, but that blockchain is also a tech stack, right? So blockchain is also technology. So you can even build that tech stack. So for that, people might need to learn Golang. So Golang engineers, they can also get into blockchain space. Rust is also one of the languages that have been used. ZK is like zero knowledge. Zero knowledge is a new technology that has been used in the Web3 space for a long time. Like people have been working on it, and there are very optimistic about ZK technology, that it will help us to provide scalability and privacy as well, right? So you can explore that, and then there are like so many things inside in the blockchain space, in the as a Web3 developer on the technical stuff. Like as I was talking about the smart contract. So you can be a smart contract developer, so you can build smart contracts for different protocols, different DeFi protocols, NFT protocols, right? And then you can also become a smart contract auditor. So once you have a command over these languages, there are companies who pay thousands of dollars to people who can just review their code, right? Because a lot of hacks happen, right? Everything is depending upon your code. Your code is the law, right? If anything goes wrong with your code, you can lose like millions of dollars, and that's what is happening, right? So these companies are ready to pay thousands of dollars to these developers so that they can audit their code, right? So this is one of the thing. And as a blockchain developer, as I said, front-end engineer, you have to learn basics of blockchain and then learn these few languages, and then you can directly go into this full stack developer, as I said, learn smart contract as well, smart contract development, and also front end. Then you can connect your application. So this is very easy on the full stack development side. And then as a blockchain engineer, I guess you can become. You have to just learn Golang, Rust, and all that stuff. So yeah, this is a pretty much introduction to that.
Okay, great, Uttam. So basically what you're saying is anyone who wants to get into this industry and as a coder, basically, they just need to get done with fundamentals first, right? Because the fundamentals will remain same. They need to get better at, all those concepts which already exist. And when it comes to maybe building a backend or any, like choosing any specific coding language, you are saying that we can go for either Golang or Rust. These are the two languages that you're suggesting for anyone out there who's just starting, right? Cool, great. So Uttam, one more thing. So basically this industry, when people start applying to blockchain jobs and developer jobs in this industry, do you think people should already build projects around Web3 only, or some basic projects which are just very basic projects which are not related to Web3, just related to coding only? Are these also enough to land a job?
See, it always depends on company to company what they want in a specific candidate. But what I will suggest is that if you have basic applications ready in Web2 space, like normal web, and then I guess you can shift to Web3 and try building some Web3 applications. But if you have like 1 or 2 years of experience, which means you have already worked in a company as a web developer, you have professionally worked on a tech stack or a particular project, then sometimes Web3 companies do hire people, and they themselves invest time to teach those engineers or developers. But if you are a freshly graduate, if you don't have much experience, then I will suggest you to just go and make yourself few projects. So there are websites called Build Space, there are websites called Learn Web3, and there are so many YouTubers who help you to build your project. So what you can do is go to these websites, follow the tutorial, and once you are confident, try to build something of your own, integrating some more tech stack, some more new technology. Every day, like there is a new SDK, every day there is a new API, so you can always explore these technologies and build
projects. So the students can either start building on their own, but even if they have the fundamental problem solving abilities, they have some fundamentals clear and understanding of coding languages, data structures and algorithms, they can still start applying, and they might get lucky and companies might invest in them, and then they teach them themselves, right? That's great. So yeah, that is about how they can start their prep and get started with the projects. But Uttam, are there any websites or resources that you would like to share where people can actually go and apply for jobs? Because I think it is not that mainstream yet in India, right? So the traditional route to applying for jobs will not apply here. So if you can just suggest some job portals maybe, or maybe some places wherein such openings are there where people can go and start applying and preparing, that would be great.
Okay, so talking about websites, I guess there are a few websites out there that specifically post Web3 and blockchain spaces jobs, like cryptocurrency.co, and then blockchain jobs and Web3 jobs, right? So there are a few platforms that specifically post these kind of jobs, Web3 specific, blockchain engineer and blockchain specific jobs. But I would suggest that if you are again looking for a job, because in this space, there are very less internship opportunities and also freshly graduate opportunities. Everyone is like, we need someone with experience, right? So that's a little problem. So if you can be active on LinkedIn or Twitter, mostly Twitter, because most of the people, they learn and then they share whatever they have built on Twitter, and people like the person who wants to hire, they look into it and they, hey, this guy is doing great, he won a hackathon, then hire him itself. So what you can do is just participate maybe in a hackathons or so, build good projects and then win a bounty and then post it on LinkedIn and Twitter, and then people sometimes directly reach out to you that, hey, we are looking for a developer, why don't you come and join us, right? So this can happen on LinkedIn as well. Like, it was a little slow from past 2 years, but now I guess on LinkedIn also people are getting aware of blockchain and Web3, so people are posting job on LinkedIn, and especially on Twitter, people just tweet like, hey, I'm looking for a blockchain developer, is there anyone? So you can just directly ping them, right? So these are few things that maybe you can look forward to. Or also one thing could be learn about a particular protocol, learn about a particular project, and then email them with your CV, with your resume, with your CV and your technical skills that, hey, I have learned everything about your protocol. I have this much experience. Here is my CV. Do you have any job for me? Right. So this can be a great space. It's like directly one-on-one rather than going through a portal or going through a third party.
Yeah. So I think what you're saying is, because this this whole industry is still a little bit, that not that mainstream in India. So what people can do is like start building open source projects in public, and start communicating in these groups, or maybe contacting people on their own. Start researching companies and what exactly they're working on, and just start building a community, being a part of community, and start talking about it and about your projects that you've done, and then publicly, basically after a while, you will be visible to the right audience, and hopefully you get a job soon, right?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, one more thing would be to do open source contributions to a particular project. So one thing is very good in Web3 space, that everything is open source, right? So you can go to their GitHub and you can check out that if there is an issue, you can pick that particular issue. And if you do 2 or 3 PRs, sometimes these guys are impressed and they're like, hey, he's doing good work, so why not talk to him and hire him. This also happens in Web2 space, but Web2 there are very less open source projects. Right, there is limitation, but in Web3, mostly every protocol is open source, right? So that's why there is a thing where people directly go to GitHub and they sometimes get hired from there as well.
Yeah, great. I think it's all about being at the right time at the right place. Yeah. Amazing. Cool, Uttam. So one last thing that I would like to ask from you, and then we'll end this session, is that you have been part of this industry for quite some time now, and you're also doing your own research. So is there any sort of advice that you would like to give to people who are just starting in blockchain or considering having a career in this industry?
If I want to give a normal advice, would be make sure that your basics are clear if you are entering into this space, right? Because maybe there is a chance that which project you are working on that might go down, because it is space, like everyone is so interested in this, every VC is trying to put money into it so that they can get profit, but maybe your project or few projects, everyone is not going to become Facebook, right? Everyone is not going to become Google, right? So sometimes there may be a chance that your project is can go down. I'm not trying to demotivate, but make sure that your basics are clear, so that even if something happens to your project, you can get your basics are clear, your technology are clear, right? So you can get another job very easily, right? But I will say, don't be demotivated to enter into this space because of that negativity all around. Negative news always goes 10x faster than the positive news. There are always positive news out there related to Web3 and crypto space. A lot of development are going on, like people are leaving tech two giants, Google and Web3, to come into this space, right? And trust me, I've been there. They are like brilliant minds working in the blockchain space and Web3 space to make it more mainstream. And definitely it is the future. So if you are someone, if you are an engineer, if you are a developer still in college, freshly graduate, then I will say, jump into this space. At least do your own research. Don't listen to anybody, maybe negative, maybe positive. Go and try yourself and see how much profit is it for you. At the end, it's like it's all about you. If you want to make your career more better, if you want to make more money, and all that stuff. So that's what my last advice is.
Yeah, that is amazing. So I guess as long as you have an interest towards it and you have your fundamentals clear, doesn't matter how many projects you fail at, and all of that will not matter at the end of the day. You will just keep moving forward and hopefully you will land a job soon here. Great. That is great advice, Uttam. I think that will be all from our end. That was an amazing, insightful session that we had. I hope people listening to this will gain some inspiration from you, and they also start considering having a career in this space, because obviously this is the future and a lot of opportunities are going to be here. And the sooner the people make the decision, the better they will be. Right. That's it for today's video, guys. I hope you all liked it with Uttam. Please like and share the video, and don't forget to comment down below your queries so that I will be covering them in our next video. If you want to get started with your coding journey, just go to our website and keep learning. And if you guys are new to our channel, then don't forget to subscribe to the channel and press the bell icon so that you can get the notification for all our latest videos. And thank you for being here.